What the new year brings to you will depend on what you bring to the new year. Vern McClellan.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the AkwaBrazilian here, and a very happy new year to you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to review your 2020 and how to plan for 2021. So I planned for this video to actually go up on the 1st, but I had a hard time putting my thoughts together. So something I like to do before the year begins is to reflect on how I spent the previous year. So for 2021, I decided to reflect on 2020 and see what I did during the course of the year and how I spent my time. I also love to analyze what I spent my time doing, what went wrong, what went right, because I like to use this information to plan accordingly for 2021. So the first question I like to ask is, what were your wins? It doesn't really have to be something really big. So usually I write down something as little as, oh, me perfecting a dish I've been trying to, learn. I was lost for words. So it can be something as little as making a friend. It can be something like, oh, finally trying out this sport that you've been eyeing. Just basic stuff that you were able to achieve during the course of the year. So writing down your wins sometimes can seem a bit daunting, but once you start with the first two, you find out that you start remembering like different other aspects or different other things that you've achieved during the course of the year. So if you have a win that you'd like to share with me or share with everybody else, just put it down in the comments below. I'll really love to read it and reply. So for me, my biggest win in 2020 was the work I did with the AkwaBrazilian. I was the most consistent in 2020 than I've ever been in the course of, like, from the period AkwaBrazilian started up until now. I was really consistent for like some months. It was on and off, but the consistency in a month from my analysis was a lot. Like, I got a lot more interaction on my Instagram, even my YouTube as well. I got a lot more followers than I did in the previous years, and it was just amazing the amount of encouragement I got from my subscribers and my followers, because it was a give and take situation. I was giving more and I was getting a lot more feedback from them, and I love the fact that the feedback I was getting was very positive in terms of me being able to encourage them, and they really loved that, oh, someone random was sending out encouragement on either a daily, weekly or monthly basis. It was a little step in the right direction, like, because if you've been following my channel, I've been struggling with putting out the content I actually really want to put out. So knowing that I had shifted focus in between the year to the direction that I actually want to take the AkwaBrazilian, and knowing that the positive reception I was getting from them was growing, made me stay a bit more motivated to actually dish out content during the course of the year. And then also, obviously, my little wins like taking off my braces finally gave me a lot more confidence in everything in general, because if you watch my braces video, you know that I struggled with self-esteem before I got braces, and even in the beginning of the period I had braces on. So taking it off really boosted my self-confidence. Another little win I had was work. I grew significantly at work this year, and I'm really proud of that. Like, I'm now able to communicate my ideas a lot more. I'm able to manage my workload a lot more as well. Another little win that I would like to share is our move. My family was blessed to move from where we were before to where we are now. So that happened during the course of 2020, and I was really excited about that. Another question I like to ask myself is, how did your goals go? So this is a question that people find intimidating because they think it's a time for them to start kicking themselves in the butt if their goals didn't go well. But no, it's not. It's like, I use it like a goal tracker. So I usually like take a deep dive into what I did during the course of the year, and how I can improve upon something that I had planned to achieve during the course of the year. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of things I planned on achieving in 2020, from my breast cancer awareness work. I wanted to do something about that in October, to the email marketing ebook I wanted to create, and to a planner I wanted to do for the AkwaBrazilian. But like, I couldn't do all those things because, I don't know, at some point the year just became so piggity, and I was just like, let me just be alive. Let me just get to December. So I just kind of like, nah. Some advice for answering this question is to first set like a main goal, or a set of important goals that you want to achieve this year, maybe like 3. Then set mini goals under those goals. Then set strategies that you would use to accomplish these goals during the course of the year. So for me, I'll be talking about my 2021 goals after I'm done reviewing my 2020 with you. So stay tuned for that. So the next thing I like to ask myself usually when I'm doing this review is, what would I want to change? So it's good to talk about your wins and all, but it's also good to acknowledge aspects of your life that you're struggling with and things that you want to tackle to make your life better in the next year. For me, the one thing I think I would want to change, like the most important thing, is my planning. I feel like I did a really poor job in 2020, and this year I really want to be more organized moving forward. Another thing I feel didn't work out so well for me last year was how I was managing my mental health. I only made it through to 2021 by the special grace of God, honestly, because I was running on pure vibes. Yeah. Because, guy, I don't even understand. I was all over the place. My mind was in shambles. I was just pushing. Like, I felt like I was a zombie, honestly, because I would wake up in the morning, just go to work, be there, work, come back, sleep. Yeah, next day, same thing. Sometimes weekends, go out with friends. Like, I hardly even went out with my friends because I was just all over the place and I was anxious a lot. I couldn't even take phone calls. Still, I'm struggling with that, but I feel like I'm in a better headspace now to text and stuff. But honestly, I was struggling. I would leave messages for days. That's another thing. It really affected my relationships with people. Like, I can count the amount of times I messaged people, aside from, because I love checking up on people at least once a month, like my friends and family. I just want to be able to know that everybody's okay. But before, I used to have like conversations. These days, once I check up on you and I read your reply and I'm like, oh, you're okay, I don't know how to continue the conversation. So I feel like I was letting people down by not communicating properly. Not letting people down, but kind of not really being present. I wasn't so present in people's lives, and I felt really bad about that. So I really want to improve upon my communication as well, my my relationships, and how I'm going to take my mental health moving forward. Last and not the least, I'd like to change up my brand. Not like anything big, but I would like to clean up my act. I'd like to be more consistent this year, and I'd like my online presence to be a lot stronger. So I want to make a lot of effort into pushing out my content more this year, because I really want to help create content that will grow my subscriber list and my YouTube subscribers, my Instagram followers, and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's basically it for my 2020 review. So let's move on to how I plan my 2021. I hope you're as excited as me, because when I was planning my 2021, I was quite excited. So the first thing I did on my plan, or when I was planning, was to get like a whole theme for 2021. So my theme was peace of mind, because honestly, last year I don't think I was at rest. Like, I would rest, but my mind wouldn't rest. So for this year, I just want to, like, I want calmness, I want peace of mind, I just want everything to be whoosh, if that makes sense. So mind you, this 2021 plan, for me, I planned my first quarter. I have a general theme, but what I went to in depth in this video was just my first quarter plan. So that's January to March. Just wanted to point that out. So basically, you can set the tone for your 2021 by picking a theme. Yours can be a lot different from mine. You might want to try something new. You might want to have a bit of fun. Like, you just pick a word or a term that describes how you want your 2021 to be. So the next thing that I did for my 2021 plan was to create kind of like a vision board. I will share my vision board here. You can see how it looks and sort of like feel that I'm going for. So the next thing for me was to write down my goals. So I wouldn't call them goals per se, because it kind of gives it this sort of like intense vibe. So I kind of like set systems rather than goals. So the way I set my systems, well, to be fair, let me just cut in here real quick. If you have a goal for 2021, you can write yours down. Or if you have a set of goals, you can write yours down. Like I said before, I feel like writing down your systems or your goals is a good way to be able to set yourself up for the year. And then it's also another way for you to track yourself at the end of the year to see what you were able to achieve and stuff. That's just all said and done. So I set systems. They're kind of like goals, but systems are more, I don't know, to me, they just feel a lot more lax than goals, because goals is like, and the systems is more like slow paced, toned down version of a goal to me. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but yeah, moving into what I was talking about. So first, what I like to do is to break everything down into different aspects of my life.
So first, I set out my priorities. My priorities are health, career, fitness, self, which I broke down into creativity and purpose. Then I have relationships.
So in terms of health, based on my analysis from last year, I did really badly. My health last year, I put a 4 down on a scale of 1 to 10, because I feel like I didn't really do well health wise, physically and mentally. So I put a 4 down. And then for my career, I put a 7 down, because I was like, okay, I improved a bit, but there's room for improvement. Then for my finances, I put a 5 down, because I did really well with savings, but at the end of the year, I just kind of like squandered all my money. So I need to do better in that aspect. Relationships, I put 2, because like I said, I was struggling a lot with that. And then self, I put a 5. Under self, I have creativity and purpose. I put a 5 because purpose wise, I feel like I have kind of ascertained what I want to do with myself. And then creativity wise, I have a 7 down, because I had a lot of ideas, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, which is really hard for my friends to comprehend, because I don't come across as one, but I'm a perfectionist. That's why I can't put out content, or I can't put out my ideas, because in my head I'm always trying to make it perfect before I put it out there.
So I have health written down, and then my main goal under health is to gain weight. So my mini goals, I have start a proper diet and hit the gym more. Then for my career, my main goal is to learn a new skill, and then my mini goal under that is to pick up UX or UI, and UI, either way. Then for my finances, my main goal is to save more. My mini goals are to stick to a budget and to have multiple streams of income. So for self, I have stop procrastination as my main goal.
That's procrastinating in terms of my ideas and whatnot. So like I said, I would want to kind of just be straight up like, oh, if I have this idea down, I would chase after it. I wouldn't have to plan it in my head, because it's like I plan everything in my head, and I kind of get mentally drained, and then the idea never comes to fruition, because it's just like, oh, can it ever happen? Because I'm still planning.
My 2 mini goals under that, I have improve my self-confidence and read more. Then in terms of relationships, I have be more present for friends and family and be more consistent.
So those were my mini goals for 2021. So if you can see, like, it's a system. I first put my priorities down, then I put my main goals, and I put my mini goals. So it's like a system. I don't just write, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do. So then after writing everything down, I kind of picked which one was more important for me to start with.
So breaking it down into my goals for the first quarter. So I have written down a theme for my first quarter, which is for me.
This quarter, I want to do everything that makes me happy.
And then my goals for the first quarter are to read more, to be more self-confident, and to learn something new.
For January, I'm going to focus on improving my reading. In February, I'm going to focus more on my outward appearance, because I kind of feel like I give people the impression that I'm younger than my age because of how I dress. It's a love-hate relationship, basically. Like, I love the way I dress because I'm a very casual person, but at the same time I want to kind of make it look a bit more mature, so people don't think, oh yeah, Rash is 16, so you can just treat her like crap and she'll be okay. And then for March, my goal is to learn something new. So I've always wanted to learn UX and UI. If you know me, I say this thing every time, but I've never actually decided to start. So I want to start my course in UI and UX in March, hopefully by God's grace. With the grace of God, I'll be able to register for my course in March. So this is all I've written down for the first quarter, and then I have like little mini goals under each of them for each month. Like, I've broken down how I'm going to do each thing, but I'm not going to discuss that because the video will be very long. But yeah, so that's basically it for my 2021 first quarter goals. And I chose to do mine like this because I don't want to put pressure on myself. I want to know that, okay, after a month I can look back and say, okay, was I able to accomplish this? If I wasn't, I'm moving on to the next month. So I'm going to be doing like monthly reviews of what I have set out to do. So that way, when it's time to kind of like review the whole year, I have already done the work and I already know what goal to set 2022. And also, I'd like to say that there's no pressure on doing this now. Like, honestly, I've said this before, your year can start in April. It's just what feels right for you. To me, I always say this to myself, that January is like a crash course year. Like, you just want to test out the year to see if it's okay. So I always do most of my planning in the whole of January, and then I kind of like start my year fully in February. That's why I'm using January, like my goal for January is to read more. It's not something really serious like that, like, oh, something I really need to achieve, like, oh, I have to do it. Reading is kind of like a leisure activity. So it's like, okay, just dabble a bit in January and read and plan your year and kind of like go slow, do something but nothing at the same time. Then my year will fully start in like February, where I want to do like serious stuff, like, okay, curating like my personal style. Then March I'll start a course. Then in the course of the year I'll think of other things that I want to achieve. Another thing with starting slow is you can see the improvements and you can want to do more. Unlike me just writing a whole goal for the year, like, oh, in January I have to do this, March I have to do this, I have to do this. It's kind of like putting pressure on me. I don't know, you might be different, but that's just me. So just starting slow, trying to get everything done in your time and within your means just makes everything a lot better. And also, I'd advise that if you want to set out like on this whole goal setting or system setting or New Year's resolution, however you want to call it, journey, you should kind of find people that will keep you accountable. So you can have like maybe your girlfriends or your guys or your significant other, kind of keeping track of what you're doing by sharing your goals with them, and they share theirs with you, and then you guys can keep track together to be like, oh, you haven't done this. Not like to put pressure or anything, but just kind of like be that sort of human reminder so you can keep yourself in track. Also, if you're not like the goal setting type, but you still want to have something to look back on at the end of the year to see how you improved, I'm going to be sharing daily prompts on my Instagram page. The link is down below, so you can just follow me on Instagram and receive the daily prompts for you to like kind of ask yourself these questions on a day-to-day basis, or write them down, or like I advised in my latest post, you can record yourself speaking about your emotions or your feelings. That also helps. I do that sometimes. I kind of vent into my voice memo app, and then I go back and I listen to it and I'm like, okay, this is how I was feeling at this point in time. Because as I vent, I kind of like vent and give myself advice at the same time. So towards the end of the conversation I have with myself, I give myself advice. So I'm just listening and I'm like, okay, this is what I would do next time if this sort of thing happens to me. So you can just follow me on Instagram, get access to like my daily prompts, and sometimes I'll be dropping some gems in my weekly motivational emails, so it will be nice if you subscribe to that as well. So that's going to be the end of this video because I feel like I've been talking a lot and the sun is setting up. So you can just subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it please, because you don't know, you might not be interested in this video but somebody else would be. So please share this video, and it also gives me motivation to make more if you like my content. So please share. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the support in 2020, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and lovely 2021 ahead, hassle free, and you finish into 2022 happier than ever before. I love you guys so much.